Joining us now for more on this is One Nation leader, Senator Pauline Hanson. Senator, good to see you. I could see you smiling as we were having that discussion. What do you just quickly, before we get into all the other things, do you know what's on your Instagram account? And if pronouns had been added by a staffer to your Instagram, would you know about it?
Listen, it's she and her, and I know I'm a female, no doubt about it whatsoever. Every time I look in the mirror, I know exactly what I see, and I know it's female. So, and I've had 4 kids, and that definitely binds it in me that I am female after having 4 children. I was laughing at it. First time I've heard about it, how ridiculous it is and how pathetic these people really are. I have to, it's a joke, an absolute bloody joke.
Well, I'm glad that here on Danica and James we've exclusively cleared up your pronouns, Senator.
Thank goodness for that. Thank goodness.
It's a wonderful thing. Hey, on a serious note, you famously called 5 times for a national inquiry into the treatment of children suffering from gender dysphoria, and you were turned down every single time. Now, the federal government has belatedly announced an inquiry. I'm just wondering, are you happy about that?
Look, I think we're past it because they want to bring a review down by 2026, 18 months away. We know the reports, the Cass report, we've seen what's happened in Tavistock in England. They've closed that clinic down. We've seen other reports have happened, what's happening in Finland and Sweden and some other countries. Just shut it down. Do not allow children to have these hormone treatments. Gender dysphoria is a load of rubbish in a lot of ways that kids are being guided to have it done to them because the teachers are saying them, ask them now, can you tick how you feel in your own body as a male or as a female? This is happening in our school system now. Parents have lost control over their children. Governments and these idiotic psychologists or psychiatrists, whoever they want to see, are pushing them down this path because kids get confused going through puberty. Let them go through their puberty. Do not allow them to take this hormone treatment or mastectomies. 15-year-old girls are having mastectomies, double mastectomies. They're having sex changes before they even go through puberty. Wake up, people. We are destroying our children. And it is not right. I agree with Trump. They shouldn't be having it under 19 years of age. In Australia, you can't drink, you can't drive, you can't join the military till you're over 18 years of age. Now, they passed at the end of last year that kids under 16 can't go into some social media platforms because we're worried about their health issues or what they're going to see. Really? Give me a break. And they're taking these sex hormones that is actually destroying, mutilating their bodies, and parents have no say, as what happened in Queensland. Kids as young as 12 are giving this treatment. The parents didn't know. It's government, it's a nanny state. Governments are controlling our children, and it is so wrong.
It is wrong. I actually think it's child abuse, to be honest, Pauline Hanson, that kids are just being offered these puberty blockers, cross-sex hormones willy-nilly in the first instance. And I just think it's going to lead to a generation of very confused children down the track. It's certainly a worry. So good on you for pushing this for so many years. Now, I want to ask you about funding for Welcome to Country ceremonies. They're going to be reviewed if the coalition is elected. It's part of the new US-style, I guess, Doge role for Senator Jacinta Nampijinpa-Price. Here is what the Prime Minister said, though, when asked about it. Have a listen to this.
What Australians are concerned about when I travel around the country isn't looking for cultural wars and looking to divide.
Well, Senator, I thought that was a strange comment from a Prime Minister who took us to the polls to actually divide us on the colour of our skin. But look, taxpayers are forking out hundreds of thousands of dollars for these ceremonies. Is it time to strip back funding?
It certainly is, and this is what I've been calling for a long time. I've called for an audit into the Aboriginal industry, which they refuse to do. They won't even discuss it, they won't talk about it. And they talk about closing the gap. No amount of money has been put into it. Are you going to close the gap? Until we get rid of the division that's happening in Australia. As I've said for the last 30 years, all Australians should be treated equally and the same based on an individual needs case, not based on race or the cultural background. until we get rid of that, we're going to continue to have the division. We should have a full audit into the Aboriginal industry, where the money has gone, the hundreds of billions of dollars. It hasn't produced anything. It hasn't helped them at all. So I want to see a full audit. Thank goodness. Every time I'm on the plane and it lands and I hear a welcome to country, I cringe. And I feel like calling out, no, I don't, and I won't, and I'm over it. But I feel if I do that, they may not let me on the airline again. But if an attendant doesn't say it, I say congratulations, thanks for not saying it, because that's how I feel about it. Australians are so over it. They had their say when they voted against the Voice. Albanese is a hypocrite. He's been the most divisive Prime Minister this country has ever had.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would agree with your sentiments, Senator.
Yeah.
I want to ask you about Chris Bowen, because he's come up with another plan to save the planet from climate doom. This time he's throwing $5.4 million at homeowners in Illawarra in New South Wales to help them move from gas to electric appliances, because if the people of Illawarra do that, the planet will be saved. Is this a good use of $5.4 million?
He's an absolute another loser on Albanese's front bench. I've never seen a more incompetent minister as I have seen Bowen. And he thinks, you know, they promised the $275 a year saving electricity. My bill has gone up, like many other Australians who are telling me about their electricity bills that have gone up. So you're getting rid of gas to go to electricity. They can't supply the electricity. They're having trouble with blackouts that's happening in South Australia, Victoria, New South Wales. So they can't supply the electricity. We're getting rid of we are one of the gas resource richest countries in the world, and we're selling our gas to overseas. Japan, who on-sells it to other countries, make a profit out of it, yet we're shutting it down. We're getting low on gas because they haven't actually gone out exploring. The government has shut that down. So we're going to be importing gas very soon because we haven't got the supplies for it. Like I said, Chris Bowen is an absolute dill, and he shouldn't have that portfolio. And I know that 2,500 people have inquired about it. They've signed up 400 people, but all they're doing is giving them money to put in appliances at the cost of the taxpayer. People, wake up. This is not going to save the planet. Go and do your research, understand about climate change. Yes, it's happening. It's not man-made climate change. Understand the science behind it, which they won't tell you.
No, they will not tell you. They will keep peddling this fantasy and sending us broke and backwards at the same time. Senator, just before we let you go, there is a flooding emergency unfolding in far north Queensland at the moment. It must be very difficult up there for communities right now.
Look, it always is, but when we do have these floods in Queensland, we expect it this time of year. I went up to one there that we had it just after Julia Creek, and it was in inland Queensland. It was devastating. It was terrible to see the devastation that it caused. Look, this is why I keep saying, we've got so much water up there. Build the Bradfield scheme. Bring the water down, inland Australia to water inland Australia. It would do so much good instead of seeing all this devastation and flooding that happens up there. And I hope the governments get behind the people that are left devastated from this terrible flooding.
Senator Hanson, we always appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us tonight.